No one could have imagined that a simple sandwich in an 8-year-old girl's backpack would bring the police to her front door. It was late afternoon when 2 patrol cars rolled quietly to a stop outside Charles's house. No sirens, no flashing lights, just silence. And somehow, that made it worse. The knock on the door was firm, official, unavoidable. Charles opened it to find 2 officers standing on his porch. "Are you Zoe's father?" His stomach tightened instantly. "Zoe? His little girl?" "There must be some mistake," Charles said carefully. "She's 8. The officers exchanged a look. "We just need to ask her a few questions." "Questions? About what?" Charles hesitated. Every protective instinct in him screamed to refuse, but you don't refuse the police. Not without making things worse. With a heavy breath, he stepped aside. "Zoe?" He called up the stairs. "Sweetheart, can you come down here for a moment?" Upstairs, her small voice answered softly, "Yes, Daddy?" She appeared at the top of the stairs, holding a pencil, homework still in her hand. When she saw the uniforms, she froze. Her eyes widened. Fear. She hurried down and stood close to her father, clutching his arm. One of the officers knelt to her level. "Hi, Zoe. I'm Officer Craig. We just want to talk about your walk to school." "Her walk to school?" Charles frowned. How did they even know her route? Officer Craig asked calm, precise questions: which streets she used, what time she left, whether she stopped anywhere along the way. And then he asked it. "Yesterday, did you give your lunch to a man sitting on the sidewalk?" Charles felt a chill. Zoe looked up at him, then nodded. "He looked hungry," she whispered. The officer's expression didn't change. Charles hadn't known about this. His daughter had given away her lunch to a homeless man. He forced himself to stay calm. After a few more questions, the officers stood up. "Thank you for your cooperation," Craig said. But as they walked back to their car, they didn't look satisfied. Not relieved, worried. That was the word, worried. Charles closed the door slowly. The house suddenly felt smaller, quieter. He went upstairs to Zoe's room. "Sweetheart, tell me about the man." She sat on her bed, swinging her legs nervously. "He was sad," she said, "and really hungry." "That's why you gave him your sandwich?" She nodded. Charles smiled softly, proud of her kindness, but something inside him felt unsettled. "You can't talk to strangers, Zoe, even if they seem nice." "I know, Daddy." He believed that was the end of it. He was wrong, because the next morning, the man was gone, and by noon, he would be standing in their yard, watching the house. Erin didn't believe in coincidences. When she saw the man standing near the edge of their yard, half hidden by the morning shadows, her pulse began to pound in her ears. It was him. The same worn jacket, the same tired posture Zoe had described. But this time, he wasn't sitting. He was watching. The moment he realized Erin had seen him, he turned and walked away, not running, not panicking, just disappearing with unsettling calm. Erin locked the door and called Charles immediately. "He was here," she whispered, "outside, just standing there." By the time Charles picked Zoe up from school, the tension in the family had thickened into something heavy and unspoken. Zoe, innocent as ever, talked about her science project. Neither parent had the heart to interrupt her joy. That evening, Charles called the police, and this time, they told him the truth. The man's name was Eddie. He wasn't dangerous. He was missing. After Zoe gave him her sandwich, he suffered a severe allergic reaction and was rushed to the hospital. But he fled before completing treatment, terrified of the medical bills he couldn't afford. The police had been trying to find him to deliver good news. A new healthcare program had just approved coverage for homeless patients. His treatment would be fully paid. Charles felt his knees weaken. All this fear, all this tension, and the man had only been coming back to apologize. The next night, Charles found Eddie in a dim corner of the park. "I'm Zoe's father," he said gently. At her name, Eddie stopped running. "I never meant to scare her," Eddie said quietly. "I just wanted to say thank you." And for the first time since this began, the fear between them started to disappear.